Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon. I was at the Great American Beer Fest last night, and I was still less drunk than the goddamn referees today. Perna.
If you get too drunk at a Broncos game, you will get kicked out.
What I saw today from the Broncos was a lot of crapola, a lot of shitola, a lot of fecola, not to be confused with Ricola. Ricola! And not to be confused that any of that made any damn sense. Case Keenum leads the NFL, however, in interceptions. That's always fun for your quarterback. Well, he's tied with Sam Darnold, a 21-year-old rookie trying to learn the fucking game. The Broncos lose on the road to the Ravens 27-14, which is still better than the Jaguars losing to the Titans 9-6. And the Vikings losing to the Bills 27-6. Broncos fans, today was bad, but it wasn't Vikings bad, okay? The story of this game is penalties and a lack of discipline. When you trade the most disciplined player in NFL history in Aqib Talib, things like this are just bound to happen. Also, when the refs eject your best offensive weapon in Phillip Lindsay for flailing his arms too hard, you are bound to lose in Baltimore. Slick Boy Soup, you're a brave man.
Slick Boy Soup, that's good Broncos. M&T Stadium all the way to Denver, baby.
I have a similar nickname, Sick Boy Soup, because I always get sick and my mommy would make me soup. Broncos, baby, bring us in.
That's good, Broncos.
If you don't want the Broncos to lose on Monday Night Football, please subscribe to this channel. If you do want them to lose, please subscribe to this channel and click the notification button. This episode is sponsored by Grip 6 Belt Company. Use my promo code ThatsGood20 to get 20% off your first order. Use my link in the description to get there and check out this commercial I made for them. It'll bring you joy, unlike this game. Are you looking for a new belt that is ultra light with no flap, never slips with interchangeable belt buckles, and is 100% made in the USA with 100% US raw materials? Then you better check out Grip 6 Belt Company. Dude, they designed me these custom That's Good Sports belt buckle logos. So cool. There's a little beer bottle, a camera. The belts are so cool, I put them in my fridge to keep them chill. And if you're like me, the number one thing you're looking for in a belt is that it draws attention away from your belly button. I just hate when I'm dressed fancy at a nice dinner and everyone continues to stare at my belly button. Grip 6 guarantees its belts for life. That is forever. And I thought these belts were so cool that they deserved unnecessary drone shots. Grip6.com and use my promo code ThatsGood20 for 20% off your order. Now let's start from the middle. A logical starting point for any story. Phillip Lindsay was ejected late in the second quarter after Case Keenum had no clue pressure was building behind him, like a surprise fart, and Terrell Suggs sacked the hell out of him, causing a fumble. A dog pile ensued. Lindsay jumps into the pile, tries to knock the ball loose, does this with his arm, which the refs consider punching. This is not punching. He's trying to shoo away the defender's arms. He was shooing the guy's arms away because he lost his shoe earlier in the game. How do you eject the smallest guy on the field under the pretense that he's too dangerous? Oh no, little 5'9" Phillip Lindsay might punch a 300-pound defensive lineman in the belly, giving him diarrhea for the rest of the week. Trust me, as a little man, the first thing we learn in self-defense is diarrhea punches. This ejection was not just a slight to the game of football or to the Broncos, but an overt attack on the state of Colorado by neutering Mr. Colorado himself. I haven't seen the city of Baltimore screw a young black man that hard since, well, every season of The Wire. Speaking of The Wire, Ray Lewis was honored at halftime for his Hall of Fame induction. I haven't seen a murderer achieve so much success since, well, oddly enough, since The Wire as well. The only reason the Broncos had a chance in the game was because of their special teams. It was Joseph Jones on the opening kickoff with a great tackle, and then Bradley Chubb getting his first full sacco on Joe Flacco. You got chubbed. That was on my prediction episode too, by the way. Joe Jones again with the punt block. This pristine block of the punt that set up an easy Royce Freeman walking, standing touchdown. Flacco and the Ravens answered by throwing passes to, uncovered tight ends. That primed the pump for an Alex Collins rushing touchdown. The only Raven I like is Alex Collins, who celebrated his first touchdown with an Irish jig. Yeah, I do like that. I like that dance. Not often do you see black guys stealing dance moves from white guys. The whitest guys, actually. Never has there been a prouder day for the Irish. Congratulations, Broncos Europe. The Broncos responded with an end around to Emmanuel Sanders that went 35 yards for a touchdown. A beautiful play set up by a nice Jano block and a Cortland Sutton block on the goal line. And I thought, hell, we're gonna have an old-fashioned shootout. Boy, was I wrong. We were in for an awful second quarter. A quarter from fucking hell. I can't tell if the Broncos' offensive line got significantly worse after 1 week, or if Case Keenum forgot how to throw a goddamn football. Keenum held onto the ball longer than I did every time I took a piss at Beer Fest last night. I am worried about the Broncos' offense because the Ravens were without one of their best defensive players at every level. Michael Pierce on the defensive line, C.J. Mosley in the linebacking group, and Jimmy Smith in the secondary. That would be like the Broncos trying to be an elite defense without Aqib Talib, Danny Trevathan, and Malik Jackson. Oh, shit. Boy, am I living in the past. I thought Denver played bad on every level, especially the 3rd and 11th level. The coaching was poor. Denver lost a challenge on a play that they should have never challenged. Whoever told Vance Joseph to challenge that play should be fired. Well, at the very least, scolded. Sternly scolded. Also, Vance Joseph, why don't you grow a set of testicles? What gutless coach punts the ball on 4th and 28? Your chances of converting that are statistically 25 times greater than winning the Super Bowl. Facts. Science, math facts. The Ravens, after that Lindsay ejection and loss of his shoe, entered halftime up 20-14. Halftime report. If I were the Broncos, I would have had Phillip Lindsay put on Devontae Booker's jersey in return for the second half. That would have been a ballsy move by Vance Joseph. And that still wouldn't have been as crazy as what the referees did to the Broncos today. The Ravens' first TD was set up by this personal foul on Isaac Yiadom. This shove at the end of a live play, a 15-yard penalty for patty fucking caking too hard? You can never patty cake a crab cake in Maryland, but how is Isaac Yiadom supposed to know Rule 115-B in the NFL rulebook? You can't expect him to know that. The worst example of reffing, maybe in NFL history, besides the Phillip Lindsay ejection, was the referees calling this Chris Harris touchdown return back after Justin Simmons blocked Justin Tucker's field goal, Justin on Justin crime. Why was the touchdown called back? Because Domata Peko actually touches number 77's back as to say, hey man, we're two really big guys, 20 yards away from the play. No way we're going to affect this play, so let's just slow down and pretend to block each other, and then 77 tricks him and falls on his ass. And so why was John Harbaugh so pissed on the sideline? Well, because Justin Simmons probably should have been flagged for, first, for leaping. I guess you can't do this anymore unless you're only 1 yard off the ball or some weird rule that doesn't make any sense. Also, number 77 was called for the penalty. He plays for the Ravens, so that also doesn't make any sense. The Ravens should have had another field goal attempt. Instead, the wrong man was flagged for a penalty that should have never been called on a play where a real penalty was not called, and poor Chris Harris Jr. wasted all of that energy for nothing. Like a guy who buys a girl drinks all night at the bar, only to get her drunk enough so she can leave the bar with the taller man who swoops in when you go to the bathroom at the Walrus. R.I.P. Walrus. Walrus, top 10 worst bathrooms in Colorado history. Ron Leary also drew a personal foul for some reason. They never showed us the replay, so you know it must have been a non-penalty. Now the Broncos, don't get me wrong, they should have lost this game. They really beat themselves. But if you thought the officiating was even close to fair, you probably still think Conor McGregor is a better boxer than Floyd Mayweather Jr. Or just give me a single flag for when Von Miller is choked every time he rushes the fucking passer. This game was more rigged than Tim Riggins. Halftime over. I do have to credit the announcers for describing what it feels like to have your eye poked during a football game.
When you get poked in the eye, it feels like that eyeball is sliding down your cheek.
That doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't feel good either.
Yeah.
You see players stop, take their helmet off.
Like your eyeball is sliding down your cheek, huh? I would have went with it feels like you're crying ice cubes, but whatever. So for your entertainment pleasure, here is that description to accompany Aqib Talib's famous eye poke.
When you get poked in the eye, it feels like that eyeball is sliding down your cheek.
Ravens tight end Mark Andrews finished the game with 59 receiving yards and 2 receptions. That's 29.5 yards per reception, keeping the theme that tight ends will destroy the Broncos defense a very real reality. Yeah. The problem, and I hate to get too technical for you non-football junkies, is that nobody knows who the fuck is supposed to be covering a tight end. Well, unless it's tight end Nick Boyle, who only had 1 catch for 2 yards. He was so close to having his touchdown cherry popped on this play. He wishes it would have popped like a real Boyle. In 4 years in the NFL, tight end Nick Boyle has never scored. Can you imagine being somewhere for 4 years and never scoring? I can. I just called it high school and college. So the Ravens jump up to a 27-14 lead in the second half. And I think we were all waiting for fourth quarter Case Keenum to come out and magically save the Broncos again. He may play dicey in the first 3 quarters, but fourth quarter Case is amazing. And the drive was coming together at the top of the fourth. Keenum hit Devontae, or is it Phillip Lindsay disguised as Booker for a first down. Cortland Sutton with a big dick grab down the sideline for a 21-yard gain. And just when I could start to taste hope, like Bo from Days of Our Lives. Soap opera joke, anyone? Stefano comes in and rips hope away from us with this Case Keenum red zone pick six. Now the interception stands, but the fun-hating refs called back the touchdown for another ticky-tacky block in the back. The game ended in a shitty way for the Broncos, who were in the red zone. They have a 4th and 1, and they get flagged for having 12 men in the huddle. This ain't a jury in the 50s. You can't have 12 angry men in the same freaking huddle. That put them in a 4th and 6, which prompted Keenum to try and force it into butt. Every gentleman knows you never try and force it into the butt. That is rude, and that will always end in an L. Now there's no way to put a positive spin on this game. It was deja vu, and not the good deja vu like the strip club in Colorado Springs. I mean, Case Keenum channeled his inner Trevor Siemian from week 3 of last season. The only pressure Joe Flacco felt was on the opening series. The secondary, albeit banged up, was bad again. No Adam Jones. Tremaine Brock leaves with a groin injury. Marquette King, in about 30 punts, only managed 1 good one. And last season, 1 dumb penalty basically cost the Broncos the game against the Bills. No fake handshakes allowed. This week, it was a bunch of bad penalties and poor play for 3 straight quarters from the Broncos that cost them the game. I will say Baltimore's probably better than we gave them credit for coming into this game. Week 1, they looked great against Buffalo, and then we all said Buffalo is shit, and then Buffalo shit on Minnesota today, 27-6. So maybe Baltimore is not that bad. I thought they were gonna be the best team in the NFC North, so let's just assume the Broncos lost to a better team. What we have to hope for is they fix all of these problems this week and bounce back on Monday Night Football. Who are they playing? No, not the Chiefs. Not the red hot Chiefs. Oh, shit.
If you get too drunk at a Broncos game, you will get kicked out.
Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube's. Follow me on Instagram at Brandon Perna, Twitter at Brandon Perna, and Will Keys and I do a podcast on my second channel, That's Good Podcasts. We'll have a reaction tomorrow morning. Blitz Radio podcast every Tuesday there, and Jake Shapiro recaps the Rockies on Saturdays. That's Good Podcasts.